So cold here right now. Wait on the summer. Okay, let's go inside. Okay, ooh, what's up everyone? It's been such a long time. I feel rusty. Haven't done this in a long time. It's been a month. But because I was moving and there's just so much things going on, which I'll explain to you in another video. So let's get to it. Today we're talking about, not sure what we're talking about today. Let's see. Just give me a minute. Okay, what to do when you feel unloved, when you feel unwanted. So let's use about 3 or 4 examples to see what these 4 different people have in common. So the first one is a person that grew up in a place where he or she was very much criticized, or people talking about this person aggressively. The next person is that one that doesn't care about anything, you know, that I don't care attitude, just takes on life really passive, or who knows, maybe aggressive. Or the next example, the person who was neglected emotionally, did not receive any type of affection. And the last example would be of a person who confines himself or herself outside from a social group, just wants to be away from the world. Now, what do these people all have in common? Even though there can be hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands of different examples that can be used, all of these people, even though they may not say it, deep down in their souls, it's just chiseled the thought that they want to be loved. Even though they may not say it out loud, they're thinking inside, oh, I wish I could have love. I wish someone could love me. I just want to be loved. Which is not a bad thing, obviously. Everybody wants to be loved. Now the question is, have you ever felt unwanted? So let's do this as a story. So here's the story of a guy who was new in town. His name was Jacob. Jacob was looking for a new beginning because there were things in the past that he was definitely not proud of. This included him being a trickster, and Jacob started working for a man named Laban. Laban had 2 daughters, Leah and Rachel. Well, Jacob fell in love with Rachel. So he decided to come to an agreement with Laban. He said, look man, I like your daughter, I want to marry her, and I'll work for you 7 years. I'll work for free, and then I can have Rachel. Laban agreed, but it was time for the trickster to get tricked, because Laban was a person who's also very deceitful. So at the end of the 7 years, turns out that the day after the marriage, Jacob finds out that he is now married to Leah instead of being married to Rachel, which meant that he would have to work for another 7 years in order to have Rachel as his wife. So it's very clear that Jacob did not want Leah. And of course, Leah feels unwanted. In fact, Leah feels unloved. Man, it was just so sad for Leah, because Leah, to her father, she's just a business tool. To Jacob, just an object, because Jacob loved Rachel. So Leah was just hoping that one day she can win Jacob's love. Ooh, but Leah was determined, so she said, alright, maybe if I give him a son, then he will love me. So that's what happened. She gave him a son. She named him Reuben, which means look, a son. Literally, that's what it means. Like, you know, like, look Jacob, look, pay attention, I have a son for you. Rachel doesn't. So she had Reuben, and she said, because the Lord has seen my humiliation and suffering, and now my husband will love me since I have given him a son. Well, it didn't happen. But remember that Leah is determined, so she decides to have another son for Jacob and names him Simeon, which means God hears. Leah said, because the Lord heard that I am loved, he has given me this son also. However, no luck with Jacob loving her. Okay, so maybe third time's the charm. Whew. So she gave birth to a 3rd son and says, now my husband will become attached to me as a companion. And she named him Levi, which means attached. Ta-da! No love from Jacob. Whew. But then by the time that she had her fourth son, things were a little bit different. Because all of this time, Leah was just looking to be loved. What's wrong with that? But maybe she was looking for love in the wrong places. But this time it would be different for her, because finally she saw the bigger picture, which was that she was loved by God. When she gave birth, she named him Judah and said, "Now I will praise the Lord." So then for a time, then she stopped bearing children, because she finally understood that even though she was unloved by her husband, she was loved by God. And this is such a great story, because there are people out there, maybe it's you who's watching this video, that truly wants to be loved. There are some people who would go to great measures to get a little bit of attention. There are people that might get a little desperate and might do anything to get love. And sometimes we tend to judge these people when we don't know what's really going on in their hearts. And I'm not talking necessarily about a romantic love. This can be also just a family member who you think doesn't love you, or just someone else. Because as we see the story, we see that Jacob didn't love Leah. But I also think that maybe her father did not love her, because he just saw her as a business tool. Leah tried to win Jacob's love over and over and over again, and had no success with that, at least in this part of the story. And sometimes there are people out there who are trying to receive love from someone, and they never do. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean a romantic love. Maybe it's a mother, a father, a family member. And man, I wish it was just as simple as just pressing a button and things change immediately. But it's not like that. It's not like that in the real world. You can't make someone love you if they don't want you. And that's a tough pill to swallow. It's a hard truth. Not like you want a love that's forced either. So Leah did not have it easy. She was surrounded by tricksters, by liars, by the people that wanted to take advantage. She also had physical disabilities. But there's a part that's mentioned in Genesis where God saw that Leah was unloved. God saw that, so he made her able to bear children. And when Leah thought that no one saw her, God did. And when Leah thought that no one was listening, God was hearing. When Leah thought that she was unloved, God loved her deeply. And even when she thought that she was unwanted, God had a plan for her life. Little did she know that in the midst of her pain, the children that she would have would one day make a nation. So today, if you feel unloved, if you feel unwanted, God is real. And God sees what you're going through. God hears when you cry. And God has a plan for your life. In the midst of all the chaos that's going on in your life, in the midst of all the pain that you're going through, God is the most constant thing that we have in our lives. So maybe you have been looking for love in the wrong places, but now you know. I've been fighting.